So, hey guys, Drawyah here, and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Apologies for the quick delay, had to sort out a few things on the back end, but we are live, and we are finally showcasing the simulator. So, before I start, I do need to say a massive thank you, first of all to Microsoft, who allowed me to take part in this release preview build. So, this is essentially what the sim will look like when it releases in just a couple more days now on Tuesday the 18th, and yeah, they've given me the opportunity to actually showcase the sim just before it releases, so a massive thank you to them. I also need to say a massive thank you to flights.com also, who allowed me to do the Microsoft Flight Sim coverage for them so far, and yeah, third of all, a massive thank you to you guys as well, because without you guys, I genuinely would not be here right now. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, we've jumped from 3.4k subscribers to just over 8 now. I mean, I've had a chance to showcase Microsoft Flight Simulator and really grow from there as well, and it's just been phenomenal, the amount of support you guys have shown me. So, massive thank you to everyone involved. So, today we take flight in the Boeing 747-8 Intercontinental on a flight from Seoul to Tokyo. Flight time today is around 2.5 hours. Thank you for subscribing, Owen. How are you all doing today? Welcome Yash, welcome Off-Tense, welcome Seaweed Sushi, welcome Lewis, welcome Yoda. How are you all doing today? I'm sure there's a bunch of others as well who I am going to miss, I do apologise. But I'm excited. I am very excited to take this aircraft on a flight today. So yeah, like I say, flying 74 on a flight from Seoul to Tokyo. We shall start preparing the aircraft. We'll go through all the basic startup. We will be using sim brief information as well, as per usual. At some point I will do a video dedicated to both aircraft setup and sim brief, and so do keep an eye out for those, because as sim releases in a few days, at this point it's kind of like the time where perhaps it's kind of worth sharing the knowledge and teaching you guys what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So thank you very much. What setting am I playing? Currently playing on high. High, some medium, sorry, high, some ultra. There's a video I've got dedicated to just my setup and my settings, and so it's certainly worth checking that out if you have the time. Right, first things first, batteries on. External power active. And yeah, let's start preparing the aircraft ready for flight. Frame rate at the moment, I'm getting around 35 at the moment, which for a 747 at quite a busy airport, that's more than respectable. I'm hoping the stream looks alright for you guys as well. I mean, hopefully it's not lagging or anything. I'm hoping that everything's looking smooth. If it is, then that's all good for me. Welcome, Off-Tense. I am reading the chat, don't you worry. I am reading it. Right, first things first, let's go for the position visualization. Thank you everyone who's subscribing as well. Unfortunately, I expect a fair few of these, so I'll try and catch them if I can, but if not, I do thank you all for subscribing. Right, so, first things first, let us program our flights. Now, being the fool I am, right, so departing today from Seoul Incheon, which is Romeo Kilo Sierra India, RKSI. Currently it stands 2-2. We'll take the position and plug it into the IRS. Thank you also again for everybody who has subscribed. Much appreciated. Set our route up. So, once again, our departure airports. RKSI, Romeo Kilo Sierra India. Flying today to Tokyo Narita. So, Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha. RJAA. Looks fine to me. Cost index, we do have a cost index of 187, but I'm not sure if the... yeah, so this page isn't quite there yet. So when it comes to system functionality in the aircraft, the Microsoft Flight Simulator, whether it comes to FMS, a lot of it does work. There's a few things that are currently in op, or a few things that are just not quite functional yet, but Asobo are aware of a lot of the issues that the sim does have at the moment, and especially with a lot of beta testing as well. They have done a fantastic job at ironing the bugs, so There may be one or two things that aren't quite operational standard, but for the most part, the simulator is doing a rather good job at simulating everything as it is. So, let's plug in our route, shall we? Starting off with Axis. Then fly to Kilo Mike Charlie, which is going to be... I believe it's that one. Thank you for donating. Can't see your name there. Maximilian. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. Alright, Kilo Mike Charlie to Yari. Followed by Mike Bravo Echo. And then we've got another one of these. 36. I'm not so sure about that Kilo Mike Charlie waypoint I selected. I think that might have been the wrong one, but I'll double check it on the route once you've plugged it in. To Bekla. And let me have a quick look. If I zoom out, the route should be there. Fly to Axis. Yari MBE. Yeah, that Kilo Mike Charlie waypoint doesn't seem to be there. So if I just delete that, execute that, and that should be our waypoints today. Perfect. So, route sets, we'll now go for our departure, which will be on, a quick look, current winds. Our runway for departure is going to be 3-3 right. I don't think we have an Axis departure, so it'll be 3-3 right, heading direct. So, execute that, and that will do. So not too many waypoints today. It's not a very long flight, this one. It's about 2 hours and 55 minutes, although given that we're on a 747, I don't anticipate actually gaining a few minutes whilst we're in the air. Yes, this is the release version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is what you guys will be getting on Tuesday when it does arrive. See what you guys are saying on the chat as well. I should try and keep on that. Much appreciated, Chris, for donating. Much appreciated. We have set some higher than previous tools. Yes, so the optimization of the simulator is definitely better than it was in the beta preview. So a few settings have gone up. At some point, I will do a whole video dedicated to just my simulator graphics settings. And so I'll do like a follow-up to my first video. So what's changed, what's different, what new settings are available. Thank you for following on Twitch in 3XO. Much appreciated. How much FPS am I getting right now? I mean, we're at an international airport in a 747 in the heavy rain. We're getting about 33, 34 FPS right now, which really ain't bad for what it is. Alright, so plugged our routing in now. I'm happy with that. Let's head over to the overhead panel and let's start preparing the aircraft for engine startup soon. Navigation lights on. Much appreciated, Minsu, for subscribing. Fly multiplayer. Not yet. Not yet. For those who watched my first video, the Inverness flight, that was with multiplayer turned on, and well, it didn't quite go to plan there. Alright, we'll turn off the engine bleeds so that we can start up that when we need them. We'll call over the fuel truck since we do need to fuel up the aircraft, and I need about 22% of my tanks full. That's 92,667 pounds. Hopefully the fuel truck isn't too far away. I'll have a look around, see if it does appear. Am I looking forward for Train Sim Mods 2? Yes, Train Sim Mods 2 I am definitely also very excited for. If you use weather presets, so there's no weather, 6 worldwides, path change and distance. So if you use the weather presets, if I jump over to the weather panel now, if I was to go for, say, broken clouds, what this does is it affects the entire world's weather with broken clouds. If I wanted snow, it would change the entire world with snow. And also, look at the cool ground effects. It does actually make the ground all snowy as well. But yes, depending on your setup, it will affect the entire world. Unless you use live weather, which then only which then goes based on the location of the weather. Am I a real pilot? No, I'm not a commercial pilot. I am not really a private pilot either. I've got some experience in GA aircraft and gliders, but not too much more than that. Thank you, Nick, for subscribing. Right, what joystick am I using? I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, so I've got the Warthog stick, Warthog throttle, which I'm using to fly today. Right, like I say, we are now waiting for the fuel truck to get here. If it doesn't arrive, we'll just use the menu to refuel. Have a look around. If I don't see it, then we'll just go without it. On the left. There, nowhere near us. Okay, let's just pop open the weights panel then. So, like I said, I need 22% of my fuel filled. Thank you for donating, Jew. Much appreciated. Any FPS improvement final release? Yes, I have seen a few frames increased. So that's been since the beta preview. Will it be coming to Xbox on the 18th? No, it's not coming to Xbox on the 18th. It's only coming out on PC. Xbox release will come, but soon. So, I've refueled the aircraft now. Let us start up the APU and start preparing the aircraft for departure. So, hold the start switch for a few seconds. The bleeds are turned off right now, so it means the engines will start without any problems. We'll also turn on the fuel pumps since the aircraft has now been fueled. I don't think we even have any centre fuel tanks, so we'll turn them on. How powerful is my PC? My PC spec is in the description, but a basic overview of what I'm running an i7-6700 with a GTX 1660 and 16 gigs of RAM, so just above the recommended spec for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and certainly a bit more normal to what you guys will have as well. I mean, there are some top streams out there with the latest spec and the top-end systems, but I'm certainly more on the what you guys would have level. And speaking of other top streamers as well, massive round of applause for Chewy94 who started at 7 AM today, streamed for 12 hours. I'm not sure if he's still live or not, or if he's finished, but he had a long day today, so fair play to him. Ooh, someone's become a member. I just missed that. Thank you, Grand Moff Tano. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yes, we are streaming on the same PC, so OBS is on one monitor, this is on the other. I don't have a dedicated system for streaming, so maybe one day in the future. Right, cruising altitude. Make sure I plug the rest of the flight in. Cruising state is at flight level 350 today. So scroll up. So head over to our, where is it, initial reference. We'll go for our takeoff speed, so it'll be 10 degrees of flaps. VSV's 155, 191, 215. Welcome P41803, how are you doing? So 191 is the rotate today, I'll set it up over here. How do I get the game? So I gain the game through flightsim.com. I'm a writer for their website, I do a few articles and videos for them. And so through FlightSim, I am able to showcase the FlightSim today. Hello from MSFS Discord, yes. How are you guys doing from the FlightSim Discord server? Is it possible to fly upside down? Yes, but we're not going to do that today. Maybe another time. The 747 doesn't have so much of the fly-by-wire limitations of the Airbus, and therefore you can do basically anything you want with the aeroplane. So how is it when your system when not streaming? So when I'm not using OBS or Bandicam, I can get an extra maybe 5-10 FPS. Because OBS is very CPU heavy, I do need to be somewhat careful with it sometimes, but it's generally not too bad. Right, AP generator's active. Let us get rid of the pound ground supply. We'll also get rid of the jet bridge, and then we'll start preparing the aircraft for push and starts. Flight director on. And the rest of it we'll sort out as soon as we are ready to go. Yeah, so the VNAV isn't quite there yet on the 747. The A320, the VNAV has been pretty much sorted out now, but still a few works to go on the 74. And I'm, again, certain that Asobo will work on the systems and should get them up to an even higher level by the time it's released. This is the release build, but it doesn't stop them releasing a few other updates before now and the 18th. Am I a real pilot? No, I'm not. I have got some real-world GA experience, but no, I'm not particularly a real pilot. Is it possible to stream a shadow player? I'm not too sure, but I do know shadow play. It's not possible like overlays and all that, so you do miss out on some of the experience using it. Right, so external power's now gone. I'm looking at the A320 there as well. Looks like they're possibly about to start pushing back soon as well, preparing for takeoff. We'll turn the APU bleed on, since that's now ready to go through the aircraft. Ah, that explains that then, doesn't it? We'll turn off the override, sorry, with the actual centre fuel tanks on. Much better. We're on the APU now. We'll get rid of the jet bridge, which is number 5. Why don't I fly from Seoul to New York? Because I'd quite like to get some sleep tonight. I mean, I went to work today, and, well, I want to do kind of a shorter flight to showcase what Microsoft Flight Sim has on offer. Am I planning to do a flight on 787? Possibly tomorrow. Depending on how timings work, I'll probably do a 787 flight tomorrow. Think this is VATSIM ready. Depends really how they implement the actual ground service for that, because taxiways and all that won't quite align. So as long as they have that an idea in mind, then yeah, I see no problem with VATSIM running on this. Where do I work? I work for a marketing agency in London. Does 747 have a cabin? It has windows, but not a cabin. So if I pop open to the showcase camera, so you get one window there, and you get one window there. Thank you everyone for subscribing. So AP is running, bleeds are all set, engines are ready to go. We shall now start the pushback process. So pushback, I need to go to runway 22 left or right, was it? I've forgotten. Shows me what I'm doing. 33 right. So that will be over there, based on what you guys are watching right now. This is currently PC only. Xbox will come later, but this simulator will eventually come on to explain how we change the seatbelt sign. Well, I don't think the seatbelt sign isn't working just yet. Turn on the beacons. We'll turn on the strobes, since we're now ready to announce to the ground that we are ready for engine startup. And yeah, let's now prepare the aircraft for pushback. We use Shift P for that. And also, just confirm we are going to be pushing to the left. Yes, it is. There's the ground map. I absolutely adore the ground map in this simulator, so it's very, very nicely done. So, that'll be pushed to the right. Cool. Shift P, let's get going. Eventually, after takeoff, the clouds should start to clear up, and once we start surfing that, things should start looking a bit smoother for us. What have I done there? Oh, apparently I've turned off... What have I done there? APU was running. We'll start up again, 2 seconds. I feel like I've pressed the wrong button somewhere, and I'm not quite sure what I've done. Alright, we'll hold our pushback just a little bit. Thank you for subscribing. There you go, AP is starting, so I've obviously pressed something and accidentally switched off that. I'm not perfect in these aircraft, I will admit. I am not perfect with the Microsoft Flight Sim, but eventually I will learn it all. There you go, AP available. Now we should bring out the pushback vehicle, and now let's get the aircraft pushed back. So stop subscribing, making noise. I mean, I can turn that off if you guys want me to. I mean, I quite like having the overlays, but okay, let me temporarily disable that. So let me kill it. Not you. You. Right, I've temporarily oh, hang on. Yeah, I've temporarily disabled the alert box. Hopefully that's a bit better for you guys. Right, parking brakes off. Let's start up the engines, starting with number 4. Hopefully if I've done this right. There we go, the N1 all starts to count up. If that's hit 5, start up the fuel flow for engine 4. Push back to the right. We need a pushback view camera, that'd be awesome. Right, engine 4 is active, engine 3. Engine 3 fuel flow starts. So that's 2,500 feet per minute climb initially. Lower the flaps down to 10 degrees. What's your performance like? Is it very optimized? My performance right now is 35-36 FPS, and yes, it's very optimized right now. Microsoft Flight Simulator. 557 viewers, that's crazy. I've not had this many people watching since, well, since Flight Sim World came out, truth be told. Man, Flight Sim World, what a simulator. Although I've got some very good memories with it, and especially the True Sky Clouds. They were the first simulators to really implement proper volumetric clouds. It wasn't a perfect sim, but it did a few things right. Can I do a wing view at cruise in a few minutes? Absolutely. So once we're in cruise, we'll definitely cycle through all the views and have a look at that in more detail as well. Engine 2 now starting up. Our buttons slot approval. So there are a few in-op buttons, but not all of them. The aircraft's more than enough functional in order to get the airplane flying. The one thing you should remember when it comes to default airplanes in Microsoft Flight Sim or any default flight simulator, people expect these aircraft to be like at the PMDG level, the FS Labs level, Just Flight, wherever, where it's top-end quality stuff, but you need to remember, in the case of the third-party developer aircraft, it's 40 developers working on one aeroplane. In the case of default Sobo, it's one person working on 40 aeroplanes. I mean, okay, they'll have a small team of people just dedicated to default stuff, but the fact that they have to develop 4 aeroplanes over a space of 2 years rather than just one aeroplane over that time frame, you do need to remember that they have got a lot of work to do in terms of getting the aircraft systems ready. So they're not perfect, but they're really not bad for what they are. And compared to other flight sims out there, default functionality is more than enough. Right, all 4 engines are running, so we can now switch off the APU, generate bleed, engine bleeds active, and APU off. Flaps down to 10. We'll set the auto brakes and all that as soon as we're ready to go. Turn on the taxi lights. Parking brake released. And let's go taxi to the runway, shall we? Also adjust our position slightly so that we're properly on the taxiway and not quite just off of it. I'm running at 1080p at the moment. This is running at 1080p. Thank you, Crizzy, for the massive work you've been putting in the last couple of days. Much appreciated. If you haven't got him on Twitch, then do check him out. He does stream from time to time. And hopefully, I presume he'll be doing some Microsoft stuff as well. But massive thank you to Crizzy, who's been helping me a lot recently. Perhaps it's worth turning on the weather radar, which does work. During my monsoon flight, I forgot to turn on the weather radar. In fact, I can't see taxiways anymore. Let's turn it off for 2 seconds. But the weather radar does work on these aeroplanes, and they do show off the current situation. So once we're aligned the runway, I'll turn that back on, and you can watch how it changes as the flight progresses. It's not an easy aeroplane to turn, this 747. It's a big, heavy jets. This is the final release of Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the final release version. Do Windows wipers work? If I'm totally honest with you guys, I don't even know where they are in the 7.4. There you go, intermittent. I'm going to go now to watch Train Sim World 20. Are they doing a Train Sim World stream at the same time, are they? I'll tune in that later on. Welcome, Chalet Boy. I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing? Airport seemed dead. Is there out of traffic? There are a few airplanes behind us. There's one there. There's a couple of aircraft at the gate over there as well. There's a few planes. No one taxiing perhaps, but don't forget that AI traffic is determined based on real-world traffic, and so presume that with no airplanes flying at the moment, airports will be a little bit on the dead side. How much light can you turn in from the cockpit? Good point. We'll have a look at that in a second. I am still familiarising myself with the 7.4. It's not an aircraft I fly too often, not on any flight sim, but certainly in Microsoft flights, I'll definitely be having a bit more fun with it, that's for sure. Am I in multiplayer? Not today. Not today. I was in multiplayer during my Inverness flight, and I have now learned from my mistakes. FPS, we're currently scoring around... It jumps between 29 and 34 at the moment. So, more than usable for a flight sim. You do need to remember that, unlike a AAA shooter at the moment, where you need like 60 FPS or you're losing the game, flight sims can be very forgiving when it comes to FPS, and the FAA limit is at 20, so if the sim's at 20 FPS or more, then it's FAA approved, and that's what X-Plane currently use for their sim. I don't think we're going to get the FAA stuff for Microsoft Flight Simulator, as this is going to be more of an entertainment platform. P3D still own the commercial stuff, so it is what it is. We'll hard short the runway here. We do need to cross to the other side, departing from the right, not the left. So we'll hold here 2 seconds. We'll do a quick check of the runway, make sure that it's all clear. We'll squawk 2000 as well. Identify. 2000. There we go. And we'll set that to terrain and traffic. Quick check to the left. Runway is clear. Quick check to the right. I see no traffic. Let's turn on the landing lights. Let's cross the runway. Let's get ready for our departure. Does TCAS work in default planes? Yes, they do. But hopefully we won't be coming close enough to any AI aeroplanes to test that out today. How much FPS? Getting around 29 to 34 at the moment. Which on my spec system is more than enough. I don't have a top-end new modern PC. All my cards and specs are from the mid-2010s, but it just comes to show how well optimized this platform is to look this good and run so well as well. Settings in Sim, I'll do a video on that at some point. I've already done one video of my beta preview settings, and soon I'll do another video on my current release settings. Right, runway's clear. Let's depart, shall we? We'll set the brakes to reject takeoff. In the off chance it needs to go around or hop back, turn up the volumes, sure thing. I look different to what I pictured. Yeah, this is, for a lot of you guys, the first time I'm actually going to see my face. Whenever I stream, I do always have a face cam on the video, but, well, again, for a lot of you guys, it's the first time you actually be seeing me, so I hope I don't disappoint. I mean, a lot of you guys seem to hate my voice. I've taken that to heart. Yeah, it is what it is. Some guys like it, some guys don't. Respect from Russia. Always good to have a bit of respect from Russia. Right. And, ooh, I'm looking at that plane there. There's someone crossing the runway, but looks like they'll be avoiding us. Engines up 50%. Engines are stable. Let's get going. Hold the yoke down, stop any premature lifts. .80 knots, or 90 knots. V1. Rotate. Definitely a bit windy at the moment. Positive climb gear up. Looks like the auto throttle's already kicked into play. We'll push out to 250. Yeah, be very careful. That's the ILS lines there, so nothing to worry about. Right-hand turn, get the aircraft en route. Yes, I'm running a GTX 1660 on this system. Did you hear the thunder on Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday was very thundery here in the UK. There was no tail strike on that, it was just a relatively turbulent departure. You do need to remember that in 747, because it is basically just a giant flying billboard, you do feel the wind in it, and oh boy, especially towards the higher end of that takeoff run, I was feeling the wind of that. Yeah, above 10 degrees rotate is not super great in 747, which I'm keeping it around 10 right now. A little bit high just so we can get a bit of a higher climb out. But again, you need to remember that in this aeroplane, it's big, it's heavy, it takes a while to climb. Also just trim for climb out. Now that we are flying on the route, we should be able to switch over to Autopilot shortly. Passing now through 8,000. Yes, we are playing on high detail at the moment. We are flying on high settings. Turn off the wipers, sure thing. Will I fly Dreamlines soon? Absolutely. We'll definitely have a look at the 787 in this. Yeah, so flying through cloud cover at the moment, you can't see a thing outside. You won't see a thing for a little while to come. We'll push down to about 5 degrees climb, passing through 10,000 now, so we'll turn off the landing lights. Case of really trying to now get this aircraft to pick up some speeds. I'm sure at higher altitudes as well, we'll be able to do rather well with that. How long's the flight? Flight is 2 hours and 55 minutes. There's the weather radar. You can see the pink. That's definitely a storm brewing. Right, let's switch over now to Autopilot. Vertical speed sets and LNAV sets. So the aircraft will now do all the flying until it comes to land. Yes, we are currently in live weather at the moment. We are currently flying as it is right now here in South Korea. You can see the sky's getting a bit lighter now, so you are possibly coming up to the top of this layer of clouds. Therefore, hopefully... Oh, there we go. Beautiful, clear blue skies. There's an AI aeroplane down there, the green flashing lights. There's a few aeroplanes, but relatively peaceful at the moment. And there we are, out of the storm. Oof, that was a tense departure, I must say, but we are out of it now. And there we are in our 747. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yes, this is a live stream right now. So we're done with the premieres. We are now doing actual live stream flights. And you can just look at the weather here at the moment. It's definitely quite stormy. I presume this is going to be part... Is monsoon also South Korea as well as it is in India? Same latitude, so I believe so. Same longitude even. Yes, I am streaming on the same machine as my simulator, both are running together. Not quite over speed, we're still a little bit below that. The 747 does have an audible overspeed alarm, so we would hear it if we were doing some naughties. Can you turn the top bar off permanently? You mean this one, I presume? Because you can hide all the panels if you don't want them, but I like them. There are a few things, however, I have turned off. So, for example, basic controls I never use, AI control I never use, VFR map I never use, so I get SimBrief for all that stuff. Passing now through 19,195. What's the size of the game? This was 126 gigabytes plus the 20 gigabyte launcher, so in total 146 gigabytes. Yeah, not much of an interior at the moment. It's just you get a couple of windows. Tuesday is only about 104 gigabytes, because I remember downloading this last night, 126. He was definitely on a premium beta as well, so I don't know. I'll see if I can get contact with him and see what he says. But for me, it was definitely 126. Do the clouds for the impact performance? They do, but not by much. I'm currently using high clouds, not ultra, so high clouds are usually pretty good for this. Can we remove clouds to see some South Korea? Sure, let's have a moment of clear skies and see what the scenery looks like down below. There we go. Just give the ground a second to load in, since, well, it's hidden by all the cloud, and therefore we have to stream it all in. House Download FS 2020 be either part of the beta preview program or be a part of the media and press who are allowed to stream at the moment. I'm just got my frame rate there. It's taken a small hit. That's my CPU usage that's gone up through the roof at the moment. So the CPU is doing something right now. I'm not quite sure though what exactly it is. Does this game require internet to play? Yes. Well, yes and no. It is possible to use just offline sceneries, but using internet is certainly recommended. What's my FPS? My FPS right now is about 24, 25, but now that CPU has calmed down, it's pushing back up to the 30s again, so... There are a few moments where the CPU is like... It does something, it's either calculating the routing or it's calculating something in the back end, and I don't know why, but it just causes the sim to kind of just lag out for a few seconds, but that's all done now. Everything is silky smooth again. But I will admit, it does give me a small panic attack, especially when I'm streaming, because so far the sim's only crashed twice for me. One was my fault because my overclocking settings were too high. The other one, I'm not quite sure what it was, but I think it was CPU related, but the sim is very smooth. Also, thank you very much for the donation, Marcos, much appreciated. The sim is silky smooth and very easy to run. We'll turn off the weather radar since you no longer need it at this altitude. Passing through 28,000 feet now. Mach 0.83. Never include an A380 in the good flight sims. The problem is, the A380 is a very complex plane to build. There's so many systems behind it, so much you need to do, that if you get it wrong, it's not an A380 basically, so... Especially at default level, it's not easy to use. What's my... pardon me. What's the VRAM usage like? At the moment, I'm using about 5.2 gigs of my 6 gigs of VRAM. For me, VRAM has been, I guess, the bottleneck. It's the one thing that stops me from pushing it even further. But it's not terrible by any means, it's just not perfect. Still, 6 gigabytes of VRAM was the recommended spec, and it's more than flyable. More than flyable. Internet's very forgiving, flight sims no doubts. Autopilot, it's not working properly. It's not that the autopilot's not working properly, it's just not the VNav. I mean, right now we are on autopilot, it's working perfectly. It's just VNav it's currently missing. But Asobo have committed themselves for 10 years of support of this simulator, and therefore I'm sure as development goes on, they will definitely go back to upgrade it. Tell me how to download the sim. So the reason I've got it is because of my connection to flightsim.com. So I do videos and reviews and articles for them, and so through flightsim.com I am able to do stuff on the simulator. And again, a massive thank you to Microsoft as well, who have given me the opportunity to show this platform to you guys. Yes, stream will be archived, so unless something was to go horribly wrong, then you guys can watch it back later. But only if something goes horribly wrong will I then hide it and then pretend it never happened, but I doubt that's going to be the case today. Contrails. There's no contrails yet, but if you watched the stream yesterday from Asobo, they have said they are currently working on rebuilding the entire effects setup. So there'll be tyre smoke, contrails, smoke in other places. They're going to redo all of that, and soon after release, a couple of weeks after release, they will then update it into the sim. So not yet, but very soon. 8 hours download time. So for me, on a 180 megabytes per second download, it took me about 5 hours to download the stream, the simulator. Yes, Rota Aviation, how you doing, man? It's been a little while. How are you doing? Right. Welcome to our cruising altitude. We'll cruise at 0.84 today, Mach. No liveries yet, but, well, there's two ways of doing it. Either Asobo release liveries relatively quickly after release, or release it for release. If not, third-party people, there'll be a bunch of freeware liveries very soon after release, so it will come, don't you worry. Will I be able to showcase Africa in coming days? I mean, I did the flight from Jomo Kenyatta to Entebbe. It's pronounced Entebbe. Thank you, everybody who told me I was pronouncing it wrong. Yes, I have done Africa in that, but we'll certainly have a look at the rest of the world as time goes on. We're about 2 hours away from landing in Japan. Just over 2 hours. No worries. Always happy to help. Always happy to answer any questions people want to know. Let's go for data. I like data. Position. No, don't really need that. Terrain. Don't really have any terrain to go around either. It's a smooth sailing flight, this. Do I use a yoke? No. I am using a Thrustmaster Hotas Warthog. I'm using the Warthog stick. I'm using the Warthog throttle. Tell you what, these window views seem to be my downfall today. Anyways, I prefer drone cam anyway, so let's go to drone cam. Is it frustrating flying in Flight Simulator? I wouldn't say so, no. It's a nice enough platform, the UI is easy to understand, and the aircraft are more than flyable. I do apologise for any choppiness. It's a combination of heavy CPU usage and OBS being OBS. So I'm hoping that it's smooth for most of you guys, but there will be a few moments where the simulator just needs to kind of catch up and OBS needs to calm down. If anyone knows any good alternatives to OBS, then I'd certainly be all ears. And one that I can also have all the overlays on that as well, because that's one of the things I like about it, having the overlays, the webcam, all that stuff. Shadowplay is good, it's very quiet, but can't really do much with it other than that. Can't wait for 737. PNDG 737 I am very excited for, that's for sure. Streamlabs OBS, how good is it? Because I know it's based on the open source code of OBS, but, well, it's... oh, why are you still going back to there? That's better. It's much better. So, we can see there are some now open patches opening up in the cloud, so the weather is not so much covering over there. And as we fly over it, we'll have a look down and see what the world looks like over Korea. Can you already perform some performance improvements in the comparison to the preview version? So, I've seen about 5 to 10 FPS increase since beta preview to now. And that's all I'll say for now, as the sim's still in development and there's to be a lot more work to go with it. You get the standard edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator through Game Pass, yes. So if you are a subscriber to Microsoft Game Pass, then you do get the sim for free through it. This live made you scared, how so? When is VNAV available? When it's ready, essentially, but Asobo are certainly working on it, and we'll surely have something out soon. Have I really got a GTX 1660? Yes, we are running a 1660 today. The box is somewhere underneath my desk. Bonjour. Birds, yes. Not today, hopefully. What's my dream job? I don't really have a dream job, and there's a lot that I'm happy and willing to do, but I don't know. I take things as they go. This is us in the next 10-15 years, and the default looks convincing. Yes, so Asobo and Microsoft have both confirmed that they'll be working on this platform for at least 10 years after release. So, released in 2020, they'll still be doing updates until 2030. Can I explain what VNAV is to people who are new to flying? Okay, so what VNAV does is it calculates the airspeeds and the altitude of your aircraft. So it does that automatically, as well as tells you where your descent should be, where your top of climb is, and that's based on your fuel amount, your airspeeds, your cost index, which is how efficient the engines are running, And what VNav does is it pretty much plans out the entire flight for you, from climbing to level to descent. And, well, that doesn't work just yet, but LNAV, lateral navigation. You've got vertical navigation VNav and lateral navigation LNav. What LNav does is that's your waypoints to waypoints. It determines how far you should turn left and right, flying straight and level, and just gets the aircraft flying from waypoint to waypoint. Lateral navigation works, but vertical navigation not yet. We are not flipping just yet today. Ooh, hang on. Have I missed something? Yes, yes. I remember that guy. Max Millions donation just came through. Just put my phone on charge 2 seconds. Can you hear the Doppler effect? Well, given that there's no flyby camera just yet, which, again, Asobo, please add a flyby camera. At some point, potentially, we will, but there is a Doppler effect. It is in the simulator. So, this is, I guess, the long, boring bit of the flight, where we're now sitting here at cruise until we need to descend. Can you, if you skip part of the flight, will it use fuel? Yes, it does. So actually, you can decide it. When you skip flight, which is part of this menu here, because I use the FMS plan in my flight plan, not the instant menu one, it'll say no flight plan set, but what you can do is you can jump from gate to runway, to top of climb, to cruise, to top of descent, to final approach, to landing. And depending on where you jump to, you can tell it, do you want to calculate fuel as well, or do you want to keep your takeoff fuel? So you get to choose between both. No one's showing max height yet. Maximum height is 400,000 feet or 450,000 feet. It's one of the two. Will you tell us how the AI Copilot is a new build? I can't say about AI Copilot because I've turned it off. I will be honest, I will never use this feature because I prefer to fly myself, so maybe at some point I'll turn it on and we'll have a look at it, but I can't comment on that yet because I haven't used it. Haven't used it in beta, haven't used it yet now. There are birds in the game? Yes, there are birds in the game. We saw flamingos in the trailer, don't forget. And there was that, I think it was Obsidian Ants who did the nature video as well, showcasing the animals in the simulator. So, there are animals for sure. Especially in the African safari. Why are you scared, Game Addicts? Why are you so scared? How's it looking for you guys as well? Is this choppy or is this smooth? For me on my monitor it's smooth, but I'm not sure what OBS is taking things. I'm hoping it's running rather fine. Is my webcam stopped? No? Webcam's still going. I'll look into Streamlabs OBS and make a switch if need be. Some saying smooth, some saying choppy. I'll look into it. I know there's a lot I need to tweak settings-wise. This for me is also a bit of a testing stream to make sure that it all works properly. So I'll look into it. I'll get into trying to fix it. You'll get this game for the visuals and the trails. That's interesting. I've not known anybody who will get this basically to fly as a passenger all the time, but if it's what you're into, then absolutely worth it. Is Streamlabs OBS more CPU heavy? Because I'm looking for something that's less. CPU is the... Whenever I'm not streaming, whenever I'm not recording, my VRAM's the limiter. Whenever I am streaming, I am recording, then my CPU becomes the limiter because OBS or whatever I'm using always kills whatever's left. So I'll look into finding something that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Can you look around the cabin? This is as much of the cabin you're going to get, I'm afraid. And just get the window views. Miami or Mumbai? Miami. Potentially at some point will fly. At some point I'm just doing my mega flights from Melbourne to London. That's my once a year charity flights. But yeah, we'll see how that goes for perhaps next year. How much gigabytes came for Xbox? I do not know. The Xbox release we have no information of whatsoever. What about top climb descent? Is it in game? Not yet, no. Well, actually, if you use the built-in flight sim planner, yes it is. If you use the FMS plugin manually, no it's not. It's still very much in between the two there. So, if I use the menu, I could then do it. But because I didn't use the menu, I am flying freehand. We're flying free range today. How much space does the game take up? For me, it takes up 146 gigabytes. How long's the flight? 2 hours and 55 minutes. We are using MBEC right now. We are using MBEC from GTX 1660, but still, OBS as a program itself is CPU heavy. I love it to bits, but it needs to be a bit smoother. My voice doesn't match my face. Like I say, I've had a few comments where people despise the sound of my voice. It's not my fault I sound like this. I can't help it. This is what I sound like. I don't mind it too much. Some people like it, some don't. This game is all about the views. Oh yes, absolutely. You can use numpad for cameras? Yes, so you can use numpad for your cameras. Although in my case I'm using the I'm using numpad, what X-Plane uses. Default is just the number 1 to 0 keys on your keyboard. XSplit, worth a look. I also saw a comment as well. ASMR 100. Anything they fixed in general? Well, no, I don't know if it was 747 doing it beforehand, but notice the aircraft's not shaking like crazy on LNAV today. People on Reddit even like your voice. There actually been Reddit posts about me, because I haven't really been checking Reddit recently. I do need to go back and see if anyone's made mention of me recently. Sounds like the man on the telly. If you watch on YouTube TV, then I am on the telly. Will MSFS hammer their SSD to death? That's what worries me. I've had no problems yet with the SSD for Microsoft Flight Sim. It's also running the same SSD as my Windows install, so if I lose the SSD, I lose Windows. Wing views will do during the flights. We're landing into Haneda today, Tokyo Narita. What joystick? I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. Speed it up, no flying real time. There are 2 passenger seat views. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through all the chat now and see what you guys are saying. I do apologise if I'm speeding up a bit. I'm trying to catch up. Mates, evening. Loops, no, not today. Have I played Star Citizen? No. Perhaps when it releases. This is on high settings. What else are you guys saying? Can I fly from Prague? Potentially. M2SD, I'm not too sure. When you move from Tokyo, from Las Vegas, to 16 hours, you can redo that flight because you don't want to wait all day. Sounded like a Matt Low. I've had a few people say that. I see you now taking over the Twitch chat as well, Chris. Much appreciated. You're everywhere at the moment. FPS without streaming. So at the moment I'm running 39 FPS. Normally it's +5 or +10 depending on if I'm in a busy city or not. So without streaming I can expect around 40 to 45 FPS. Sometimes even more. I'm flying a... Why do I sound like a female? That's a new one. Sometimes even more when I'm flying on... Sorry, that just threw me off there. That just threw me off. Have I played Star Citizen? No. Perhaps when it releases I'll play it. Man, a lot of people are streaming this right now, especially on Twitch. It's a very, very busy platform. But then again, it is worth it. It's an amazing simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and... yeah, it's definitely well worth the watch. Oh, I've got 30 viewers. Hello, 30 people on Twitch right now. I'm trying to help you guys as well. Faith, even if you know what I mean. Ignore the trolls. Don't you worry. Like I say, I just take things to heart, so you're all hurting me now. hope the same works on your XPS 9300s. I mean, it's a decent spec, the XPS systems. They're rather good. Do an engine view when I feel like it. I mean, we'll have a look at the engines as the flight goes on. Whoops, that's fuel. Let's check the stats camera. We'll definitely jump between the different views and see what the aircraft's looking like different flights. Am I in London? Yes, I live in London. Can you buy the Deluxe Edition planes as DLC? No, no you cannot. What am I looking for? I'm trying to see if I can make you admin on the Twitch chat as well, Crizzy, but I don't think so. I'll have to look in the Twitch settings later. The last thing I want to do as well is run a browser alongside OBS and Stimulator, so I'll do it later. Thanks for the Lebanon flight. When it came to the Lebanon flight, because once a year I do a charity live stream, but this time I decided to do a second one just to try and see if I could help out in any way possible. And especially with the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator, it was a chance. Yeah, I am right clicking on you, but it doesn't show up as the make moderator. I can kick you, I can add you as a friend, but I can't make you a mod. Yeah, with the Lebanon flight, it was a case of I could then showcase Microsoft Flight Simulator with a massive new audience, and at the same time, use you guys to send more money over as donations. So I actually got an email from the British Red Cross this morning to say a massive thank you for the donations, and all the donations have now gone to the Red Cross in Lebanon, and they are now using that money to help people out as well. So they've got it all, and that's all been processed. So massive thank you to everybody who has donated. £632 I think it was in the end. You must think you're not the host. I'm using the Android app, to be fair, to get the stuff, so we'll see. Same graphics cards as Miss M Rover Boost. Sounds good. You did great, thank you so much. It was an enjoyable flight as well. Thank you, Mo. How are you doing? Here comes our second admin for today. How are you doing, Mo? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat. Currently flying over the ocean right now, so we have left South Korea. Does anyone know what version the Intercontinental adds? What do you mean by what version it adds? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. What models do I recommend of the GTX 1660 Super? With the 1660 you could probably run a 1440p setup, but right now I'm just using a Samsung curved monitor. It's got some really long code name I don't know the name of, but I'm using a Samsung monitor myself. Now it stutters, yes, so that's just my CPU playing up again. It happens from time to time. The CPU will just jump up and for some reason kill all the stuff. That's down to OBS. And now if I go back outside, for me it's all silky smooth. For you guys, I don't know. If I disable preview, that saves some GPU at least. Yeah, I'll work on it. There's certainly a few upgrades I need to do, but for me personally right now, I'm getting about 45 FPS. It's just OBS that's being a bit jumpy at the moment. Do I watch football? Yes, I do. I'm a Chelsea fan. What's my power supply? I have no idea, if I'm totally honest. Stutters through now. Yeah, that's just OBS. Let me try and see if I can reset it slightly. Will I fly to Dominican Republic? I've had a few requests for the Caribbean. Perhaps at some point we will fly over there. Let's have a look. My VRAM has dropped considerably. It's now at 4.7. CPU's at 61% usage. In fact, let me just drop my... There you go. So, CPU right now, 64% usage. My RAM, I've got 16 gigs of RAM, of which is using 6.9 gigs. Nothing. My Wi-Fi, that's where the spiking's... Alright, that's why it's lagging, because it's downloading a bunch of data. Who would have thought my Wi-Fi would be the bottleneck? But yes, Wi-Fi right now using 104 kilobytes per second. And my GPU, so my VRAM is... Okay, slowly building up, but around 5 gigabytes of VRAM. 3D's at 50%. Video encoder's only about 6% at right now with 6% right now, so that's going to be OBS. Squirrel, yes, Squirrel drops OBS. He's using NVIDIA Shadow Play, so that's something I'm going to look into, because that comes default with the graphics cards, and therefore definitely worth a look. But as you can see, it's not a heavy simulator at all to run. It's very light. It does a very good job. Since everything is running a bit smoother, let me see if I can go over to Twitch now. And let's see if I can actually give you the permissions, Crizzy. If you're also on Twitch as well, Mo, give me a shout and I can get you added as well. Right, token is submit. Perfect. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, that guy really needs to go now. This chat is so painful. Here we go. So if I do you... There we go. So you... I can... Mods. There we go. Right, Crizzy, you're now a mods. Please do the needful. Apologies for that. That was not fun. Is 15 megabytes per second enough? The minimum the simulator will require is 4. If I go over to my data, so at the moment, current data consumption is 887.23 megabytes. We're not limiting right now. It is possible to drop it down to 5 megabytes per second if need be, but for the most part, it's running rather smooth at the moment. It's not too much data it's pulling down. Cool. Thank you very much for that, Crizzy. Much appreciated. Enjoy your new green sword. Yeah, 32 gigs in your machine, which is plenty for Microsoft Flight Simulator. More than plenty. Look at the weather in Haneda. Give me 2 seconds. Right, correction there, it's 800 megabits per second, not megabytes, megabits per second. Just a quick correction there, as I got my numbers muddled up, but it's not a very big sim to run at all. It's very optimised for what it is. Is there a way to speed up sim? Yes, it is. There is a way to speed it up. You can do it via the travel to markup, but today we're flying the full flights. We should soon start to see the Japanese coast in the horizon. No worries, Daniel. Take care, man. Good night. How accurate different airlines are, would you call them study level? I wouldn't call them study level, but I would say that they are functional. You can definitely fly from A to B with these aircraft and not have any problems with them. Yeah, this is a world away from FSX. This is a mental flight sim. Oh, hey Lewis, how you doing, man? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chats. Wonder if you'll spot me in any TikTok videos this weekend. I mean, I'm not even in TikTok, but you've noted me on TikTok. There's actually another person who spotted me at the supermarket TikTok. What's the longest flight I've ever done? In real life, the longest flight I've done is from London to Athens. That was a 4.5-hour flight. That's closely followed by Milan to Lapenranta, which was a 4-hour 15-minute flight. The longest flight I've done in a flight sim is London Heathrow to Melbourne with a stopover in Perth. So London to Perth was 19 hours, plus Perth to Melbourne, which was 3 hours. So that was 23 hours I did in total. 23 hours. I don't use TikTok. I have not got the app or anything, but somebody recorded me once on TikTok, and everybody noticed me since. But no, I do not use TikTok. Thank you, Shark, for subscribing. Much appreciated. Let's see if I can turn back the alert box without it being swarmed by you guys. I was asked to turn it off before the stream started because it was super busy. I didn't sit here for the entire 23 hours. I did get like a 2-hour power nap during it. But during that stream, we were raising money for the British Red Cross supporting COVID-19. And we made about £450 in that, so certainly worth doing. Ignore the description, I've got the name wrong. It wasn't Gimpo it departed from, it was Incheon. I initially thought it was Gimpo, but I changed it last moment because the 747s don't fly out of there. Am I a pilot IRL? I have got some microlight experience, I have got some gliding experience, but I wouldn't call myself a pilot, no. At some point, though, I do want to continue my MPPLM. Just need to figure out a good time to do it, plus financing. Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. At some point, we'll have a look. I'm not too sure, actually, if they're included or not, but trust me, I wouldn't be surprised. Thanks for the Lebanon fundraiser. Your family lives in the US. It was good to do. It was good to showcase simulator and actually do it for a good cause as well, because I try and do a couple of charity streams or whatever throughout the year. I mean, I'm a big supporter of the... where is it? My pin. There. So I'm also supporting the London helicopter ambulance as well, which is a charity in the UK. I believe it should be a part of the national service, but it's not. But I do support the... I do support a couple of charities. Thanks for watching your stuff, Cloudman. Much appreciated, Matthew. Thank you, Persian Iverson, for following on Twitch. Is there a spectator or full autopilot mode so you can drink tea? Well, yes, there is an AI mode, which you can turn on, but I've turned it off because I don't use it. But there is a mode where you can just set up a flight plan and then turn on AI mode, and it does the entire trip for you from takeoff till landing. How long till landing? We've been flying now for about an hour, so about an hour and 50 minutes to go. Yep, that's the Windows 3.1 Tadar sound for donations and subscribers. I just love that sound effect. So I remember back in the old days of Roblox, whenever you'd get an achievement, that sound would play. Is it smoother in this version? Yes, much smoother. Yes, we are running a i7-6700 processor. Yes, you have heard of Windows 3.1 Tadar. That's my notification sound for subscribers and donations. AI380s look a bit strange. To be fair, the AI380s, thank you, Jan Relock, for subscribing following on Twitch. The A380's AIs, those are based on the A380 Plus, so it has winglets and a few other things as well, but yeah, they're just AI models, they're not there for you to particularly fly. I don't use a yoke, I use the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. It's a small form factor, so I can actually fit it on this desk, which is quite limited for retail space. And yeah, it's just a very, very good bit of kit. The HOTAS Warthog. Your spec should run it fine, Dreamliner. Or, you could definitely run high, potentially up to Ultra. You should be alright with that. Is your computer going to explode with the beauty of the game? I hope not, but we'll see. I'm looking at the horizon there. I'm not sure that's just... Is that land or cloud? I can't quite tell. Potentially islands, because Japan's got quite a few of those outside. Fly past houses, see if you can hear noises outside. I mean, it's that good, isn't it? Yeah, I do apologise for the slight stuttering. That's just OBS. The sim's silky smooth for me, but OBS just can't keep up. So I'm going to look into NVIDIA Shadow Play and see if I can actually do it from there instead. I do apologise for any small issues. Thank you everybody for following on Twitch, much appreciated. It doesn't seem to be the best hardware. No, it doesn't. I mean, you look at my system spec. My graphics card, my CPU is worse than what you've got. So you don't need the latest and greatest. No, you don't. So many subscribers coming in now just for the 3.1 sound effects. I do hope that once Simulator has a release, I get to keep you guys as well. I mean, it's nice having all the extra viewers, but we'll see how it goes. I'd hope to gain a few extra views as it goes. How does VATSIM CSL work? So those are the model matching that VATSIM uses. It kind of takes the aircraft codes of whatever you're flying, matches it to a database, and then injects that aircraft into the simulator. Sad there's no 737. So the 737 will come out. Well, there's two actually on the way. So you've got the 737 NG series coming from PMDG. You've also got the 737-200 coming from Milviz. So those will be both payware add-ons that will come soon. You're afraid your 1080 won't be enough. I mean, I'm running a 1660, and the 1080 is better than 1660. So if I can run it, you can surely run it. The 737 PMDG is expected Q1 of 2021. A380? No one announced an A380 yet. Oh boy, all the followers and subscribers coming in now. It's going to go ding ding all day long. If it gets too much, just let me know and I'll turn off the alert box for the, at least during the Microsoft Flight Sim streams, because, yeah, they're going to be a bit over the top. 1 million views, thank you very much. How do I enter the wing view? There is a wing view. You can go through the showcase camera, positions 16 and 17. Have I tried 320? Have I tried it? I mean, I've done the A320 is probably the aircraft flown the most so far in the simulator. Is it all interactive? Yes. So if I can find a switch I can press without causing a massive problem. So I can see this. Yeah, there's no fuel and sensor tanks, but I won't play with that. There you go. Landing light. I can flick all the switches. Fully interactive. Aircraft does manipulate as well. It's a nice little aeroplane, this. Well, little aeroplane, it's massive. We are running on high settings. Yes, so you can save different custom viewpoints, just like you can do in X-Plane. Yeah, the 747 is no little plane, that's for sure. Queen of the skies. Speaking of 747, I should have flown this thing back in May, but no, never happened. So for my 21st birthday, I plan to fly to America. I'd fly out on an American Airlines 777. My return trip was a British Airways 744. I had the ticket in my hand. It was there. I've never flown this aircraft before, and I was so ready to tick it off my list. No, the flight was cancelled, my trip was cancelled. Just a couple of weeks ago, my, well, the British Airways retired their 747 fleet, so I had the ticket in my hand, and it's gone. Another one as well. In Russia, there's an airline called Izhavia, and they fly the Yakolev 42s. They fly out of Moscow in them, and I was going to potentially next year go to Moscow and ride the Yak 42. 3 weeks ago, they replaced their entire fleet with 737s. So the Yakolev 42, another aeroplane, cross off the list. I mean, the 747, I still have hope. There's Korean airlines that still operate it. Lufthansa will definitely be flying it for a few more years to come. And there's a few other airlines as well around the world that operate 744, so 744 and 748s. I still have chances with that, but unfortunately the the Yakula 42 is now pretty much a lost cause. 300 likes, thank you very much. Bunch of subscribers coming in as well. I'm going to turn off the alert box, not because I don't appreciate all the messages and that, but just because it annoys a lot of people, the constant dinging sounds, so I do appreciate it. But once we are flying normally without the beta preview stuff, we'll definitely turn that back on, just leave it as normal. I am using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. I use it at the Flight Sim show. I then went to Mo's place, used his set, fell in love with it, and well, yeah, I didn't bought a kit myself, so very, very good bit of kit that's. The Autopilot's not bad, it's just not fully functional, because I'm using Autopilot right now. We are active on Autopilot, we're using LNAV, we're just using the manual speed and altitude, but it's not bad, it's just not functional. There's a difference. When you crash, you can screen goes back and says to yourself extra damage. There is a way you can actually crash in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's the settings to turn it on, but there is a way you can actually crash the aeroplane. Maybe at some point I'll do a thing on how you do it, but it is possible you can crash the aeroplane and it actually crashes. Yes, there's no cabin view in his aircraft, you just get the windows. Do I play DCS World? I do have DCS World, I play it from time to time, but it's not my go-to sim. Although at some point I do want to sit down and actually just properly learn the controls. Sit down and just do it, but I do have DCS, yes. Can you set control curves? Yes, you can. So my rudder, for example, I've set to quite a non-sensitive, while my stick and throttle sets to standard, but yet you can control the curves. Barcelona are 4-1 down against Bayern Munich. You're kidding me. Wow, and it's only half time as well. That is disaster. And the Barcelona goal is an own goal, so that's 5 goals from Bayern right there. Crazy. Something doesn't sound right in my head. What's my favourite airline to fly? The 737 for sure. I like my hands-on manual flying, but in the sim, the A320 is not too bad. The 747 is nice and easy, and the 787, well, that came today, so still got to learn it basically. Should not be any phone flying. To be fair, we're above 10,000 feet and we're in cruise. I am allowed to be on my phone at this part of flight. Once we're below 10,000, then the cockpit is sterile. This is the full version, so I have got the full version from Microsoft, and yes, we are flying the release version of Microsoft Flight Simulator today. Yes, so Neo is the new engine option, the CEO is the current engine option. The CEO and the NEO. Today we're flying to Tokyo Haneda. Visual settings breakdown from last week. Been testing since Alpha 3 and was the first death analysis you saw so far. To be fair, that video was done with the help of a guy named the original Babu. So Babu was like the person who did a lot of the benchmarking tests. So I released the version 1 that video. Turns out I got a lot of it wrong. So Babu's like, excuse me, this is what it means. And so based on what he's written, I've now changed, and therefore I have left links to his guides in the description as well as in the pins comment. He will do a full guide as well when Simulator releases, but definitely worth a look at the Babu stuff if you're part of the alpha and beta. Yes, this is the GTX 1660 running today. This is the medium high spec card from NVIDIA. It does have a Toga option. I'm not too sure of Toga because I haven't played around with it that much. Over there you can see some lands now. I presume that's going to be one of the Japanese islands. Yeah, we're definitely coming close to Japan now. Should soon be over landfall. Gonna join us soon later. No worries, Knots log. You take care. What I use to record gameplay? So I use Bandicam normally, but because I'm live streaming right now, I'm using OBS instead. I'm going to look into NVIDIA Shadowplay because it should be a lot smoother than this. There's a few moments where it's a bit laggy at the moment. For me, it's fine. For you guys in OBS, it's potentially a bit stuttery, so I'm going to look into Shadowplay to try and fix that. When did I get a 1660? I got about a year and a half ago now. About a year and a half ago. No cabin, but you've only got windows. Any plans for the weekend? I've got a few flights planned, but at the same time, I'm also a railway volunteer, so I'm actually away for most of the day, Saturday and Sunday. But I have got a few flights planned for the mornings and evenings, so do stay tuned for that. Ooh, a lot of waypoints just jumped on the screen there. 40, 80. So when the airport was about 80 miles away from us, that's when you'd start thinking about our descent. So, not too long to go now. We've got our arrival instructions. There's no Beckler, I don't think, which is fine. Oops. So, we'll be landing on runway. Let's get the METAR information. Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha METAR. All METSATs. Let's have a look. So 30, so that'll be runway 3. Runway 34 right. Transition LGAR, that's what you'd have a look at how that changes the flight plan. So go to plan mode, we'll zoom in, and then we'll go step by step. That's alright, so we kind of crossed the airfield there, or crossed the landing path, we'll be at a higher altitude by then. Loop the plane around, and then come into land runway 34 right. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then the arrival. What's going on there? So the wind's perhaps playing around a bit. Like 0.87 since the fuel has lightened the aircraft down a bit. What am I looking for? I'm looking for... Let's do 4 right, that's fine. We use 30 degrees of flaps. Potentially doesn't have the frequencies though. That's what I'm looking for right now. Where would it be? Navigation radio. 3-4. Okay, so it has got the ILS information. 3-4 rights, course. So we'll go for that, I guess. Right, that's our approach sets for Japan. They should let Steam customers pre-download, so that they have to wait until release date. Use a lot of big plane. Oh, hang on, I'm trying to catch a chat now. Big planes for domestic or short haul in China, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and Australia. FYI, you're flying to the wrong airport. Is it Narita? Sorry, I'm flying to Narita then. Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha is the one I've got on the list. So it's Narita, not Haneda. I don't know my Japanese airports, so I do apologise. Have you ever visited your own home, and was it correctly depicted in Sim? I have visited my own home, and the area did look right, yes. Vinav works great, sad face. Go to the view from Amsterdam, MS store, 3 days and 2 hours to go. Full trial party of some pro flight in Japan. Microsoft didn't implement that. Can you put up the map, see where you are? I've deactivated the map because I don't use it too much. How's the VNav? Nope. Love Narita. So we're flying to Narita, not Haneda. Narita, Narita, Narita. Ignore what I said earlier. Careful with the spam. I have got a guy admin in chat right now, so hopefully he's doing a good job at keeping the chat. Ooh, gosh, he's doing a great job, isn't he? Germany, good content, Germany, good content, Germany, good content. Yes, so the throttle there was deteriorated slightly, but it should now be stable. Here we go. Welcome to Japan. How's the game installed? How do you install the app? So, first we download the launcher for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, first you download the launcher, you open it up, and then you you give it a file location to send it. So, you can install the launcher, for example, on an SSD, and then download the content on a hard drive. We can download it on one drive, download for another, so there's a few ways you can do it. But the content is installed separately, and you get to decide where it's launched. Yeah, so, down below, welcome to Japan. Is this Hiroshima, is it? What was the in-flight meal today? Well, for dinner, I had cinnamon square cereal. I didn't fancy a big dinner tonight, so I've just done that. You've not answered. What have I not answered, sorry? Ask your question again and I'll ask. Can I do wing views? Sure thing. Sales and streamer, not you. What's the question? I'll answer. Are all the 3D buildings around the world or for capital cities like London? All buildings in the world, or the majority of buildings around the world, are 3D, no matter where you are. As your AI will take like the elevation data of wherever you are, use the shapes like the roofs and the shapes of building stuff. It will detect where the buildings are, and then if it's got photogrammetry, it will use 3D building. If it doesn't, it will use an autogen building that kind of sits in its place. So it has got a couple of options for if you do need to get 3D buildings out. Are there any game charts? Not at this stage, no. But I believe there was a partnership program thing recently which actually talks about charts coming in. So, not yet, but potentially soon. Is there top of descent? No, there's no top of descent, so I am manually having to, I guess where we're landing, but it's not too difficult. It's around 80 miles for 30,000 feet. So as soon as the airport appears on the top here, that's when I know I need to start my descent. Get rid of some of these extra information so you don't need them. How far's destination should you reach top of the descent? So if you descend at 2,000 feet per minute, you need about 80 miles to do 30,000 feet. Although that depends on your speeds as well. So we'll slow down the airplane and start descending. Other interiors, no. There are windows, and other airline liveries. Potentially there'll be liveries on launch day. If not, then expect a lot of freeware liveries to come very soon after. People will make. We have windows, but no interiors. How's ATC version? ATC is functional, but I'm personally not using it today. So you can see the heat burn from the engines. What load? Not sure, to be honest with you. Although my current load, so we have 11% of our fuel tanks left, so we've used about half our fuel usage so far. And current weight is 16, sorry, yeah. So current is 606,341 pounds. So, relatively heavy aircraft today. Look at my reserve tanks. Why are the reserve tanks full and not everything else? Let me just check something 2 seconds. Which one are the reserve tanks? See, this is where my non-familiarity to 747 is starting to kick in. Have I done something wrong, or perhaps I've just not looked at something right? So the main tanks are fine. Where are the reserve tanks? We'll see. We're going to be doing a visual land today, but we will be using the ILS to guide us in. So ILS down to about 1000, and then we'll take manual control. Sorry about that. The simulator comes out on the 18th of August. 18th of August. 4 days. 4 days to go. Dreamliner is playable for the people who own Premium Deluxe, which I do own. So potentially tomorrow or Sunday, I'll be showing off some of the 787 gameplay. I believe there will be some cross-compatibility play between Xbox and PC, but don't quote me on that just yet. I've answered that question a few times now, Deluxe. There is no top of descent. You have to manually calculate the descents. With rolling issues, so the 747 is certainly a lot more stable. Currently now turning it this waypoint here, but 747s are nice and stable aircrafts. So about 160 miles an hour from the airport. We should start descending in just a couple of minutes. Can I fly to Amsterdam Schiphol? At some point I can do. How much RAM is being used? Let's go through my system spec again, shall we? Let's have a look at performance. Now that we're over land, with quite a lot going on in terms of mountains and visuals. So, we'll start off with CPU right now. CPU's at around 57-58% at the moment, and staying rather stable. That spike there was just me opening Task Manager, but there you go, 55% we're using right now on the GTX 1660. We're using about 9 gigabytes of RAM out of my 16 available, so RAM's nice and easy. The Wi-Fi usage is currently at, so we're receiving about 200, 300, 400 kilobits per second. That is jumping a fair bit as it kind of streams in more data. But again, not too heavy at the moment. And my GPU, that's where things start to get a bit more, I guess, struggling kind of. So 3D's around 32%. My video encoder OBS at 6%. My GPU VRAM, so I've got 6 gigabytes of VRAM, of which I'm using now around 5 gigabytes. So VRAM's certainly the bottleneck right now. And there you go, so 5.3 out of 14 gigabytes of GPU memory. 5.0 out of 6.0 gigabytes of VRAM. So if you can get something with a bit of a higher VRAM input, then that would be grand, but if not, the simulator doesn't particularly need it. How do controls look? There are no controls yet, but during the live stream yesterday, Asobo have said that they are going to add them very soon after release. They're currently rebuilding a lot of the effects engine right now, and therefore the controls are coming, should be soon. Does everyone in the beta preview get Premium Deluxe to try out? Yes. No. So beta users get the standard edition. It's just the media and streamers, the content creators like myself, who get the Premium Deluxe to kind of show off. So, in terms of actually showcasing, because like I say, I write for flightsim.com, and therefore, in order to actually get a full review of Flight Simulator done, I do need all the content, because I can't do like half a simulator and do a review on it. So, there are a few things here and there, but... Oh gosh, okay, that's frozen, hasn't it? Whoops. Yeah, that did not look too good. There we go, that's better. Oh, my shelf's now visible. That's going to be annoying. Can I get my shelf out of frame now? If not, I'm going to have a shelf behind my head for the rest of this flight. So down there's an airport. This is going to be another town I can't know the name of. This is streamed, so this is the streams data. If my webcam's going to freeze, I think I might just turn off the webcam because that's being a bit awkward right now. This is the high settings, not ultra, but running on high. Is there force feedback? Yes, there is very good force feedback. So I use my Xbox controller for the drone camera, and well, it vibrates like crazy depending on the situation. So there are moments where it does give you some very strong force feedback. Yes, it is there. But how's that for default scenery? Again, how's this for default scenery? It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Have I tried Ultra? I have tried. It runs at about 15-20 FPS, so I'd rather salvage some frames for a little bit of lower quality, but even then, this is just beautiful. This flight is about 2 hours and 55 minutes. We are just a couple of miles away from our top of descent. Not long to go now. Not long till we land in Tokyo. I am running a i7-6700 processor with a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 graphics card. My specs in the description in full detail. So that was Okoya, Suwa and Chino. I know my brother's watching this right now because he loves the country and goes here 2 or 3 times a year, so... yeah, he's very much watching my pronunciation right now. Flights are in real time, yes, Finley. This is a real 2 hour 55 minute flight. It is possible to skip time and make the flight shorter, but I quite like flying in full. I mean, the world is 1:1 scale. This is the real size of the world in the simulator. You have a 2270 Super. Will it run high and what are your settings? I've got a settings video which showcases what I'm running. At some point I'll do an updated one for the actual release version, because there are a few things I've changed. There's one option I've had to lower because it's not quite there, but there's a few options I've had to raise as well. So there's a few that now run better than they were before, and I'll definitely do a video on that. What would you recommend top of descent? I'd recommend top of descent 80 miles outside the airport at 2,000 feet per minute. 80 nautical miles at 2,000 feet per minute. Flight 747 real life. I probably could not do that, no. It's a difficult aeroplane to get your hands on, that's for sure. Give me 2 seconds, I need to check something. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. How long will 787 flight be? I'm not too sure yet. I haven't decided the routes. I've got something in mind, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Would I be right in saying that that there is Mount Fuji? It's definitely the highest peak right now. Yes, and Minami is sitting in front of it. Sounds good. So that'll be Minami, that'll be Mount Fuji. Do I think they'll add top descent? At some point they will. It's just a case of finalising the VNAV for the aircrafts. I'm glad that you guys are actually able to, you can spot all the scenery, you can see where everything is, and that just shows again just how good this simulator is. You see it, you recognise it as real life, and you can, yeah, it's just so good. Oh, where's the simulator been all my life? I mean, 5 years ago, we were all blown away when X-Plane 11 released, and they used OpenStreetMap data for the world. It's like, OpenStreetMap data, you can now see the roads, you can see the houses, you can see everything is. No flight sim will look ever better. Half a decade later, Microsoft and Asobo Studios go and drop this. I mean, I've got a lot of respects for Laminar Research, I've got a lot of respects for the work that X-Plane does, but visually, this trumps it in every way. There are a few things that I quite like about the X-Plane flight dynamics, which I somewhat... we won't go into that today, but at some point we'll go on a comparison between X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator, but for now, we'll focus on Microsoft Flight Sim. Steam has all three versions. You've got Standard, Deluxe, and Premium Deluxe. Let me just move my camera slightly so that you're not looking at the shelf behind my head constantly. There, that should be a bit better. It's a bit more of an angle, but there's no more shelf just appearing out of nowhere. X-Plane 11 add-ons. No, this is all Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is all wholly new platform. Is there anything bad about buying Microsoft Flight Sim from Steam? Not particularly, no. The Steam edition and the Microsoft edition are both exactly the same. It's all just mountains. Oh yes, welcome to Japan. It's a country with a massive population density. Oops, there's our top percent now, before we miss it. So, down 2,000 feet per minute, please. There we go. We'll slow the plane down to Mach 0.70. And the intercepts for the ILS at Narita is, well, it says 5150, so 5,000 we need to get down to. Ooh, that's going to be there's a slight bit of lag here, I will be honest. That's because it's now loading up the scenery of Tokyo, so expect it to take a few seconds to download the information, render it, and then throw it back on the screen. That will take a few seconds. Yeah. That's the CPU in action right now. Very rarely though this happens. I mean, only because I'm flying, like I say, over a mega city like Tokyo. Of course, it needs that extra room to play with. For the most part, it doesn't really do this. You saw the rest of the flight. It's smooth as anything. I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog for my flying today. HOTAS Warthog. There you go. Sounds all smooth now. So, Tokyo scenery has been downloaded, and it has now input it into the simulator. So if I go and have a look at what's in front of us, that right there is Tokyo. What do I think of the DVD version? A part of me wants it. I will be honest, a part of me wants the DVD version. Because it comes with the printed manual, and I just like having the physical copy of a lot of stuff as well, but I don't think I'm going to get it, but I want it. What do I think about the Thrustmaster Airbus? I mean, I like Thrustmaster. As a company, when it comes to their flight sticks and HOTASes, they're very, very good for what they are. So, yeah, if the Airbus is anything like the T16000M, it's going to be a solid bit of stick. Solid bit of stick. I've never said that before, and I don't think I ever said it again. Right, passing now through 30,000. So we get the meta information again. QNH is 1007 here in Tokyo right now. Let's see if that's something that it wants for the approach information. Yes, it does. 1007. Perhaps not. So yeah, it's got the runway 34 left. Go to radio navigation. It's got the ILS at 110.9. I set the course to 340. And so yeah, well, I know what to do is bring the airplane down to land. The approach path, like I say, we do overfly the actual approach path a little bit, do a 180-degree turn, and then bring the aircraft into land. Oops. Not today. I have turned off the ATC, but there is ATC. It does do what it wants to. So I can tune to Tokyo Center if I wanted to and start communicating again, but not today. Not today. Whew, there we go. Welcome to Tokyo. All those buildings down there below are going to be 3D, and therefore, especially for a city the size of this, it's going to take a little bit more to load than others. Yeah, so we didn't use ATC for the ground, didn't use ATC for takeoff, so usually seems pretty good. So if it detects that you're not flying with ATC, it will pass other aircraft around you to try and avoid any actual issue. Yes, this is live weather. This is what the weather's like right now in Japan. Tokyo's 3D modelled? Yes. Tokyo is modelled. All the buildings are in 3D. So center rate back to 2000 again. Currently around 307 knots. We'll switch over back to the knots indicator and we'll bring it to about 260 knots. We can also use the spiders if we need to help slow down. I'm sure I set that up properly. Yeah, it does. Perhaps I'm just high enough out so you don't need them. Noob here. You still fly direct GPS? Yes, you can still fly direct GPS. DVD can only hold about 9 gigabytes whereabouts per layer, which is why you have to have something like 16 discs in order to install the simulator. We are flying to Narita. Tokyo Narita. If I said it Haneda at any point, ignore me. We're flying to Narita today. Let's hope we get a good landing. Sorry, what did you say, Summer Holiday? Let me check what you said. Or ask it again, and I'll have a look at it. There you go. No. I don't know, but I don't think that you... I say it's very unlikely you can transfer it to Steam, and it's mostly unlikely you can turn it to Steam Store. There's a high chance you could do it for the Steam Store, but certainly not for Steam, no. On Game Pass or download, there'll be no pre-download for Microsoft Flight Sim. You can only download it after it releases. They've confirmed that. Butters and buns on 1 billion discs. I mean, given that I've not actually really done a proper landing 747 yet, let's not talk about that fact, shall we? Right, let's increase our descent rate a bit. I feel like I'm a little bit too high at the moment, but we've still got a fair bit of travel left before we do come towards the airport, which I believe is that bit there. 19,000. We should be alright. Airport's 20 miles away from us. We also have to overfly that. Worst case scenario, do a bit of manual vectoring And we'll give the aircraft some extra distance to descend. We'll also slow it down to about 240 knots. Because the slower we are, the quicker it will be to descend. There we go. Spoilers out. Is there a pop-out GPS like an FSX? Yes, there is. I've turned it off, but there is a VFR map that you can pop out. There is no cabin, we've just got windows. You want a cabin tour? There's your right window. There's your left window. Cabin tour complete. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Bye-bye. Yeah, so, slowly coming down over the outskirts of Tokyo. Sorry, Tokyo. Got to say it correctly. Tokyo. And, yeah, it's coming to land soon. Where did I get the game? I've got it on the Microsoft Store. Will there be a day one patch? Give me a second. How do I get it? Did I beg for it? No. I'm a writer and reviewer for flightsim.com, and so through flightsim.com I've got access to the simulator. So a massive thank you to them, and also a massive thank you to Microsoft who have provided me the early access for it. So we're going to overfly the airport now, make a right hand turn, and then bring the aircraft into land. We're going to increase our descent rate now to about 3,000 feet per minute. Oh yes, we're doing it in the 7.4 today. Behind me? What's behind me? This is live. So this is a live stream. I can see what you guys are saying. I can respond to what you're doing. So don't you worry, this is a live stream. I'm just having a look. Yeah, so just in case we do need to do a bit of manual hand to get the aircraft out a bit further, we'll do a 105 and then make a right hand turn and come back in again. Do I mind zooming to autopilot? Sure, so you've got autopilot engaged, you've got your altitude, your vertical speed, you've got your heading, you've got your speed, and you've got your flight director and all that. It's all there. I'm playing this on the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog. I use a HOTAS Warthog for my stick. Is there a GPS nav toggle? I don't think there is one in 747. Have you seen other aircraft flying? Haven't seen one yet from all continents. So during the start of the stream, you could see a few flashing lights from AI aeroplanes. There are AI aircrafts, definitely. Once Drawyah has that many subscribers, will be known as the OG subscribers. Oh, I know who my OG subscribers are. People who were back with me ever since Flight Sim World was a thing. Right, well, we've done the flight well so far. We're on manual heading at the moment, so we continue our descents. It's, well, now hoping that I don't go and muck things up. This is always the fun one for me. Yeah, so kind of confirm it's 110.9 for the runway heading. What's the course? If my resident Japan experts can give me the runway course, that I can get that at least confirmed. Running on 3-4 rights today. Yeah, I should have probably descended a bit I should have probably descended a bit earlier, as I do need to remember that the 747 is not quite an agile, nimble aircraft, so we'll fly out a little bit further as we continue our descent. And then as soon as we hit 10,000, we'll do a right-hand turn, get back on the path, and then bring the aircraft into land. 329. Remember to extend the gear before you reach land. Yes, so in Japan, over these airports, you do need to lower your landing gear relatively early, because in the chance of any ice that has formed, it can cause some destruction. So we'll make a right-hand turn, we'll fly over the water. We'll go 180. And let's now start the approach phase of this flight. Yes, I can see you in Mashira, I'm not going to pronounce that name, Ugandan eBay Reseller UK. Seatbelt signs? What seatbelt signs? Yeah, seatbelt signs are active, don't you worry. We've passed through 10,000 now, landing lights on. Let's also stop our descent rate a little bit, so we'll go at 500 feet per minute. This is live weather, but not live time, correct. If I was doing live time as well, it would be about midnight in Japan right now, so... yeah, we're doing live weather, but not live time. Can you learn more about the basics of flying this game? Yes, you can. It's a flight simulator, that's what it's designed for. This product could literally use Flight Simulator's codes. Are you sure it uses Flight Simulator code? I'm not too sure about that one. What rudder pedals do I use? I don't use rudder pedals. I'm going to be truthful now. I'm using the right stick of my Xbox controller. I need to get some pedals at some points, but I am doing this the hard way today. But fortunately the winds are relatively straightforward for us, and therefore I don't have any issues with that today. So you can actually see the 3D buildings as well. The buildings there are all 3D. We're at 7,000, 8,000 feet, and it's all there, fully rendered. It's crazy. And it's all out of the box. This is completely default. There's no add-ons, no third-party, nothing. This is all default. A bit of water. You can use your toes for the gamepad. Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to quite work, that, the Xbox controller on the floor, because I'm also using the controller for drone cams, so that's this one. Check out Scroll Nighttime, he's doing awesome. I did a nighttime video yesterday, but I decided to remove it because I wasn't too happy about the encoder making it all blurry, blocky mixes, so at some point I will do a nighttime flight again, but we'll give that a little bit of time. Right. Going to make a right-hand turn now. Also increase our descent rate down to about 1,000 feet per minute. 170. We'll set the altimeter now to 1007. Imagine if some guy like Zyber could modify the 748 to make better systems wise. Oh yes, that would be fantastic. We'll have to see what the future gives us. Welcome Infinite 777X, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat, how are you? Can you turn up the panel backlights? Yes, you can. You've got floodlights, you've got backlights. Just got the map brightness. Yes, you can learn the basics of flying with the simulator. So that's what a simulator is built for. Let's make a right-hand turn now. 230. There's a 15-20 FPS drop just from the cock panels in certain places. That's down to the CPU trying to render all my calculations now. So a CPU, a heavy CPU plus OBS equals your CPU is going to be the bottleneck. I'm going to look into NVIDIA Shadow Play since that's meant to be a lot better when it comes to actually streaming this stuff. Yeah, so about 20 minutes ago when we were loading in the Tokyo scenery, there was a noticeable lag spike there, but it wasn't too bad that. You could live with it. Alright, go up to 5,000 now. First stage of flaps. Yeah, so I'm running this on the high settings right now. High settings on the GTX 1660 at 1080p. How do I describe the aircraft handles? If you like, explain. The airplane is heavy to fly, that's for sure, and doesn't feel too bad when flying. For a 747, I quite like it. How many FPS I'm getting right now? 35 FPS up to 40. If I wasn't live streaming right now, then I could probably get a bit higher as well. This is a live stream, not a premiere. So all the premieres on the beta preview are now finished. Going forward, these are all going to be live streams now. Which, well, let's hope I don't muck any of them up, because so far this one's gone very well. But, well, it's the big bit now, the landing. And who knows how this can go. 280. Start slowing the plane down now. I need to be at how many knots for landing? Radio. No, I need to be on the approach. There we go. 235 knots for land. 235, really? Okay. That seems a bit high, but we'll see. Can planes have random failures during flight? Yes, they can. If you turn it on, then you can have random failures. Is it possible to change the livery? Not yet, but either we'll have liveries on release, or third parties will make them relatively quickly soon after. So I'm on the localizer mode now. Yeah, 235 is a little higher there, so I'm going to send... We're going to be at 200 for now. I'm going to try and push for around, you know, just say right there, 160 for touchdown. Thank you, Andrew. So the VNAV needs a bit of work. The VNAV is the one thing that doesn't work yet in the 747. If they get the VNAV right, then it's a perfect aeroplane. Right, set the brakes to 4, since we're landing on 233 right, which is the very short runway here at Narita. And all calls down to the fact that there's a shrine that sits at the end of the runway. So the runway should have been a bit longer, but then when constructing the runway, they discovered an odd shrine right in the middle of it. And because in Japan they value their shrines, they value their heritage, they left the shrine in place and built the runway and airport around it. So there's a bit of history behind it, and it's quite an interesting one. Now, I did need to lower my landing gear before we hit the land, because also regulation Japan, in the case there's icing that forms on the landing gear well, the, gear will go down. Any ice that breaks off needs to drop before it hits the houses, so we'll definitely drop that first. How's work today? Not too bad, actually. Work was rather quiet, but usually it is on a Friday, so I'm not complaining. So we're currently at 5,000 now, the correct altitude. We'll lower the landing gear. It's down to 180. I should go there all the way up to 160 now. And approach mode set. Flaps 30. How are the physics? Physics are rather good. Certainly feels like you're flying a 747, that's for sure. Huh. Good luck, bro. Better butter that bun. We'll see. Truth be told, I haven't really landed 747 too much in the Sims, so freehand first time. Let's do it. Now, the A320 is usually my go-to aeroplane in the Sims, so it's one that I've flown a fair bit more often. We are currently... We're alright at the moment with glide slopes. We are a little bit too high. We're a little too high, but we are currently central, so the aircraft will make those small adjustments as we continue our descent. What setting? We're at high. We are running high at the moment. Can you get below 720p? I mean, it's possible, but I'm not sure why you'd want to do that to yourself. Can I please try low setting? I mean, I like it as it is. I mean, okay. At some point, I'll look into making the textures a bit less blurry. That's one thing I'm going to work on when it comes to optimizing all that. It's not perfect, but that's down to me setting up my actual settings, but soon I will have it exactly right, because if you look at it right now, from this angle, scenery down below, this is beautiful. It looks fantastic. The fields are high resolution, the roads all that follow, you've got this train track as well that follows down as well. Is that train track or a river? That's a river even. But yeah, as it is right now, it's not looking too bad. 2500. The runway is just coming into view now. That's it right there. Nice rice paddies, yes. Turn off the auto throttle now and take it onto manual throttle. Very high. Not particularly. Okay, yes we are. Right, autopilot disengage. Let's bring it in manually. Yeah, textures are a bit blurry at the moment, but as we overfly the airport, they should start to crisp up a little bit. Again, that's just down to my settings. I am still working on tweaking it slightly, making it look a bit better. And as I do a few more live streams over the weekend, I'll start to go back to smooth things up a little bit. Where's the runway? Runway is about there. I can see it, that's for sure. That is down to my GRAM. Sorry, my VRAM, my graphics card VRAM. There you go, we're now flying over the airport. Things are starting to look a bit higher resolution. So that's going to be my FXAI, I believe. Something for me to play around with later. There you go, so now it's crisping up, the scenery is looking better. We're a little low, but for this runway, I want to get down as soon as possible. Reverse thrust sets. What's my anisotropic filtering at? Probably rather low. We'll have a look at it in a second. 80 knots. 60 knots reverse thrust cuts. Hold the braking. Oh boy. Still slowing. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to look into my scenery a little bit because it shouldn't be looking that bad, that's for sure. From the external, it looks alright. It's just from the cockpit view, it's looking a bit iffy. There's no replay feature yet, but Asobo have confirmed they are working on one. Right, landing lights off, taxi lights on, flaps up, and let's taxi to the runway. We'll turn on the APU. Put a little bit more throttle in just to push the aircraft around. Give me 2 seconds. Let's have a look at the settings. 2 secs. Anisotropic filtering is at 16. Turn up synthesis perhaps. Super sampling shouldn't do anything, but we'll turn it on as well. It's done something at least. I'll work on my settings a bit more. As the simulator gets more and more into development, there's a few things that will always change. There's a few things that I definitely need to work, and so certainly the blurry textures there, that's probably more my fault than the simulator. I mean, like right now, turn up the settings a bit more, and well, the ground texture is looking a lot sharper, that's for sure. Yeah, that's looking so much better already. Heat mirage's effects as well, so heat mirage is something that the simulator does have, as well as what's it called as well? Haze blur as well. So when the ground is all hazy and you're at a high altitude, it will affects the visual clarity. But yeah, there's a few things that I need to tweak on the settings-wise simulator. But still, smooth landing, can't take that away from me. How can you do visual landing with no textures? I mean, there were textures, it's just I need to be right on top of them to see it, so I'll mess around with my settings a bit more and I'll just try and tweak them to look a bit better as well. My initial filtering, that's at times 16, which is the maximum. I will do an updated settings video. I will do an update on that to show off what's going on, because there have been a few settings that change as well. So it's actually a brand new setting, which lets you limit your FPS, and a few others as well. So I'll make a few tweaks to it to make a version 2 of it. My graphics card is a GeForce GTX 1660. Definitely I'll upgrade the GPU at some point. I'll go for a... I'm not sure what I'll go for yet. Maybe a 20 series card. I don't think I'll go for the 30 series just yet, but we'll see. So here is the start of the runway, and as you can see, they had built the runway all the way over here, but because during development of the runway they found an old shrine over here, and Japan does love its heritage, they kept the shrine in place, and yeah, ultimately built the runway around it, as well as built the airport around it too. There's an AI A380, but not non-flyable yet. Are control settings similar to FSX? There are some similarities, there's a few that's different as well, so there's a few things that have changed here and there. True, no point investing in the GPU until your current one dies. I'll work on my settings, there's a few things I need to tweak there. Today's live stream for me is more of a test bench to kind of see, does it run well, does OBS not kill me, and just a few other small things as well, but I'll work on it. Landing progress, we've landed. We have now landed in Tokyo. Big and heavy aircraft taxied 747, but we'll go find ourselves the gates. I'll certainly look into doing a 787 flight tomorrow. There's a few things I do want to... I kind of want to learn the aircraft first, make sure I understand it systems-wise, and then we'll definitely do a flight in it. So at some point, do expect a 787. There's no A350, there's no A330 Neo in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You recommend Perito Moreno in Argentina. I'll have a look. Do I prefer airliner or GA? I prefer airliner flying, but I don't mind a bit of GA. What's my next flight plan? Haven't decided yet, but tomorrow morning we'll do a flight. Tonight I'll go back to my settings and try and adjust them again. And then tomorrow I think we'll fly the A320 in the morning, and in the evening I'll try and do the 787. So we're going to go taxi to around there, because those stands are suitable for the 747 here at Tokyo. Before we shut down the engines and then bring the flight to an end. Yes, the return flight from Perth to Heathrow. I mean, the aircraft's still in Melbourne at the moment, so we actually have to get it from Melbourne to Perth first. But you never know, at some point we might do the return flight of that. Oof, that was a long one. Have I seen my home in the game? Yes, I have. I live in London, so it's not too difficult to find. Thank you very much for the sticker, Chris. Much appreciated. The orange suitcase with travel stickers. It was a great stream. It was incredible to watch. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm definitely glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, the 747's a giant compared to other aircraft. There's an A380 over there at the stand. Maybe we'll go park up next to that. Can I review the 787? I haven't actually flown a 787 yet, so I can't give you a review on it. There you go. Easy. Yeah, the Dash 8 is the biggest 747 ever built. Bigger than the C5, bigger than the N2 124. It's longer than the A380 by a couple of meters. It's not I think the 380's wings are slightly wider, but in terms of length from nose to tail, the 747 is longer than the A380. It does run smoother than the next plane. Talk about it on another day. Can we look outside the passenger cabin? Yes, we can. And let's go park the aircraft. We'll park it there since I can actually see that's a free stand and therefore one that we can go use. There's a fair few aircraft parked at the moment and therefore space is at a premium. What time tomorrow in the UK? I'm not too sure yet. It will be in the morning. It depends on the length of the route and also what time I can do a flight before I have my volunteering in the morning. What's the next flight? It'll be in the A320. Not sure on the routes yet. In the evening I'll try and do the 787. Stop. Parking brake set. Switch the bleeds to the APU. Power on the APU. Engines off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tokyo. Yeah, the ground marshals all disappeared. If I pop open the menu, let's go to ground services at Narita, and we'll call the jet bridge. And yeah, that was a flight in the 747 from South Korea. That was Seoul. Okay, don't connect to the airplane then. Goodbye, jet bridge. The ground crew really are on strike today, aren't they? Yeah, that was a flight from South Korea to Tokyo. That was a 747 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And yeah, that was a rather enjoyable flight. I will look into my settings again, just see if I can figure out the source of those blurry textures when I was on approach. But I'm sure that was something else on my end, potentially even just OBS being OBS. So I'll look into the settings and I'll work on it for tomorrow, and hopefully things will be a bit sharper then. But overall, that was a rather good flight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the support you've shown me over the last 2 weeks. It's been phenomenal. And yeah, see where things go tomorrow. So haven't decided the route yet. Tonight I'll work on the settings and plan out the routing, and then go from there. So thank you very much for watching. You're all superstars. Thank you flightsim.com for allowing me to cover the simulator for them. Thank you Microsoft for giving me the chance to actually showcase simulator as well in its early access. And yeah, let's call it a night. So enjoy your weekend, guys. You take care, and I will see you again soon. Good night.